The recession deepens as country after country falls into a deeper level of exhausted economic situation. So let's go into Japan entering the triple dip recession. Are they willing to admit how bad things are? And we'll look at the details of this and how it connects into other things. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. This is the chart you need to see. We had the financial crisis only a few years ago, and we're looking at now this triple dip, as they call it, a recovery here, because of course just recently they were saying how they were recovering from the bad news, and this is it, into the triple dip. So we can expect more of this to happen. But you know what? A lot of people use Japan as an excuse. They use it as a scapegoat. But let's look at other countries, and that is this. The Eurozone is on the cusp of a triple dip recession as German exports crumble, and they said that they narrowly missed their triple dip. And basically this is what they can do, is just manipulate the numbers, making it look fine so that they don't have to enter the triple dip, but it's gonna have to happen. They can only do so much, but we are expecting right now the ECB to engage in its QE. There are a lot of talk about this, different people, so-called officials, talking about it, so we'll see what happens. But the reason I mention this is that worldwide, this is a phenomenon that is occurring. This is not just the US and Europe, it is happening everywhere. And let's go into how this connects into this. Out of the St. Louis Fed, federal government, consumer credit, student loans, and asset level. Let's see how you can't even see the value here practically in the earlier years, and it just slowly begins to incline. But as soon as the financial crisis hits, all of these federal government, consumer credit, student loans, everything just goes in like a hockey stick motion upward. It is unbelievable, and this is preventing things like the triple dip recessions from occurring. It is preventing a major financial collapse from happening. And oftentimes I have arguments with individuals who consistently suggest that our debt is manageable, and the fact is that it is absolutely not. There is no way that this level of debt can be managed. This will crumble down. If you see how fast this chart went upward, it's going to go down even faster, and that is very frightening. So I'll go on here, basically talking about the poverty levels, and this is the real serious deal. I talked about this in a couple of recent videos as well. The wealth of the 1% richest people in the world amounts to 110 trillion, okay? Then we look at this. That's 65 times the total wealth of the bottom half of the world's population. That is an extreme number. And then at the bottom it says, the bottom half of the world's population owns the same as the richest 85 people in the world. Can you believe how the disparity that has been created? And they're suggesting that everything is going to be fine. It cannot. Let me go on. One of those companies, one of those major institutions that is responsible for all of this wealth disparity that I was just talking about is Goldman Sachs. And I'm bringing you right from Goldman Sachs' own website, okay? The effective income tax that they paid was approximately 1% in 2008. How much income tax did you pay on your bills this year, last year, the year before? Have you ever had a 1% income tax? None of us are ever going to get the special treatment. Why? Because Goldman Sachs and the US government are one in the same. And we have to go in and pretend like they're not. This is crazy. 1% on their income tax rate. Then you look at Google, you look at GE, you look at all these other companies who pay basically no tax. You look at how they use Luxembourg, as I just talked about in a recent video. They use countries like Luxembourg to basically wash the money clean, and they never have to pay taxes. This is incredible, the way they're able to use our system against us. Poroshenko, Ukraine rebels areas to lose state services. So this is one thing. I just want to mention two separate points here. And essentially, when you have a big government, the people rely on it, the people need it at some point. So if you were to pull that out, you have major riots, civil unrest, upheaval, chaos, and everything like this. Another fact is that right now they're beginning to cause a run on the banks, and that is happening there. When you lose the security, the stability, and the fragility is exposed, you will have run on banks. And this is how I'm thinking that it's going to be happening in the other countries like Canada, like the US, where we have our deposit insurance that can't even manage 1% of all deposits, and that's somehow going to protect us. In fact, I wrote about it in my book. I said deposit insurance allows banks to continue taking risk without worrying about a bank run by customers, because they know that if there is a bank run, that the FDIC or the CDIC, depending on where you're living, is going to come in to backstop it. But as I said, there's less than 1% of all deposits able to be, insured. So what will they do? They will have to engage the central bank, and they will just ramp up the printing presses, get that money out to the consumer, and they will be back to normal. And this connects in with this. Harper uses handshake to tell Putin to get out of the Ukraine. They're having a major conflict that is occurring right there, and this is something that we need to worry about in the near future, because we're looking at the geopolitical tensions that are upon us right now, and this is going to add more fragility. That fragility is going to lead to things like bank runs, like bail-ins, more bailouts, and so on and so forth. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to become an insider. The Insiders is where I give out all my best intel for free, and that is available at themoneygps.com. You scroll down to the bottom, fill in your email address, and occasional emails from me with good, short, concise info.